Hey everyone! Today we're diving into something that I know so many of us feel being completely exhausted, but your mind is just buzzing. You know, your body is begging to shut down, but your brain just refuses to get the memo. So let's get into why that happens and, maybe more importantly, what we can actually do about it. Does this sound familiar? You've crushed a long day. Your body feels heavy, your eyelids are drooping, but your mind, oh, your mind is running a full-on marathon. It's replaying conversations, it's making to-do lists for tomorrow, it's worrying about that email. If you're nodding along right now, trust me, you are in the right place. You know, this feeling actually has a name. Tired but wired. And it's not just you being dramatic. It's a real physiological state. It means your body is screaming for rest, but your nervous system is basically stuck in the on position. All right, so let's start to unpack this whole paradox. First up, we're going to look at the super common signs that show up in our day-to-day professional lives. Because, just recognizing the symptoms, that's the very first step to actually solving the problem. Do any of these hit a little too close to home? That afternoon crash that hits you like a ton of bricks around 3 p.m. But then, later, the moment your head hits the pillow, you're suddenly wide awake. Or maybe it's that feeling of being unable to switch off after work, so you reach for another coffee or a sugary snack. And what about this one? Noticing that little things that you used to brush off now feel completely overwhelming. And I really want to be clear about something here. If you're going through this, it is not a sign of weakness. It's not laziness. It's a signal. It's your body telling you that there is a biological mismatch happening, that your internal systems are just out of sync. And you know what the best part is? It's totally fixable. Okay, so to fix it, we have to understand why it's happening in the first place. So let's get into the biology a little bit and see exactly how your body gets stuck in this high alert mode, even when you are just desperate for a break. So at the very heart of this problem is a hormone called cortisol. You've probably heard of it. It's your body's main stress hormone. Now, in a healthy rhythm, cortisol is high in the morning. That's what wakes you up and gets you going. Then it slowly drops throughout the day, hitting its lowest point at night so you can sleep. But when you're tired but wired, that whole rhythm gets flipped upside down. You feel groggy and flat in the morning, and then you're buzzing and wide awake at night. So, what's causing this mess? Well, it often starts with your fight or flight response. Think about it. A never-ending stream of emails, deadlines, notifications. It all keeps your nervous system on high alert. Your body gets so used to being in this emergency mode that it literally forgets how to power down. And this constant state of activation is the first domino to fall. Which leads us straight to cause number 2. Things like late-night work sessions or that 4 p.m. espresso, they directly mess with your body's stress response command center. They're basically screaming at your body to keep pumping out that cortisol late into the evening, exactly when it's supposed to be winding down. And that high cortisol at night, well, that naturally leads to our next problem. Right, when you finally do fall asleep, those high cortisol levels mean your sleep is often shallow and broken. You might wake up a bunch of times, or you just don't get enough of that deep, restorative sleep that you really need. This creates a really vicious cycle, doesn't it? Your body doesn't get a chance to repair itself, and your brain can't properly downregulate all those stress systems, which just sets you up to feel tired and wired all over again the next day. And that lack of good sleep then goes on to mess with your body's master clock, your circadian rhythm. This internal clock is supposed to regulate everything, but late night meals and the blue light from our phones and laptops, they send it really confusing signals. It's kind of like telling your body it's noon when it's actually 11 p.m., and your entire system gets thrown completely out of whack. So how do we try to fight back against this crushing fatigue during the day? Yup, you guessed it. We reach for caffeine and sugar. And while, sure, they give us a temporary lift, they also crank up that wired feeling and, as we now know, mess with our stress hormones and sleep later on. It just locks us deeper into that cycle of dependency. And finally, there's one more major piece to this puzzle that often gets overlooked: the gut-brain connection. All this chronic stress takes a real toll on your gut health. And that, in turn, messes with the production of neurotransmitters like serotonin, which are absolutely crucial for regulating our mood and our sleep. It's a two-way street of disruption, where a stressed brain creates a stressed gut, which then just sends more stress signals right back to the brain. Okay, I know that was a lot of science, but really understanding the why is what empowers us to actually fix it. So now for the good part. Let's shift gears from the problem to the solution and look at some simple, actionable things you can start doing, like today. I like to think of these as tonic tools. Things you can do right now to immediately calm your nervous system. A simple breathing exercise, where you exhale longer than you inhale, can lower your heart rate instantly. A hard rule about putting screens away an hour before bed tells your brain it's time to wind down. A firm caffeine deadline and a quick 10-minute walk after you eat, these are small things with a surprisingly huge impact. So once you have those immediate tools in your back pocket, you can start building a more resilient foundation with daily habits. And consistency here is everything. Going to bed and waking up around the same time trains your body's clock. Creating a wind-down ritual, dimming the lights, doing a few stretches, writing in a journal, that creates a buffer between your hectic day and a restful night. Even simple shifts, like making lunch your biggest meal or just getting up to move for a couple minutes every hour and a half, can stop that stress from building up in the first place. Now let's put it all together. This is not about some massive, overwhelming lifestyle change overnight. It's about taking a structured, step-by-step approach. So let's walk through a simple 4-week plan designed to reset your body's natural rhythms. Here's how we can make this feel really manageable. Week 1, you're just setting a baseline. Cut off caffeine by 2 p.m. and stick to that screen-free hour before bed. That's it. Then, in week 2, you build on that by adding a simple 10-minute wind-down ritual. Week 3 focuses on your daytime, making lunch your main meal and adding in those little walks. By week 4, you're just optimizing and reflecting on what's working. See how each week just layers on top of the last? It creates real, sustainable change without that feeling of being totally overwhelmed. Okay, and this is incredibly important. While all these strategies are super powerful, they are not a substitute for medical advice. If your sleep problems are really severe, if you're seriously struggling to function during the day, or if you have any other concerning symptoms, please talk to a healthcare professional. So, as we start to wrap this up, let's really focus on the single most important idea here. It's the core mindset shift that you need to truly break free from this tired but wired cycle. If you remember one thing from our time together today, please let it be this. Feeling this way is not your fault. It is your body sending you a very clear signal. It isn't asking you for more hustle or more intensity or more biohacks. It's asking for rhythm. It's a call to bring back the simple, natural cycles that our modern world has so often disrupted. So I'll leave you with a question to think about. Don't try to fix everything all at once. Just focus on one thing. What is one small, simple rhythm? A screen curfew, a 10-minute walk, a quiet cup of herbal tea that you can bring back into your life, starting tonight. Because that one small step, that's the beginning of reclaiming your energy and your rest.